we need to get this message out to you. What is rent to rent? And is it a good strategy to do? In this video, I'm going to address the deep core creation of why rent to rent came about, and is it a good strategy now, and if so, what is it that you've got to do? Hey, so my name is Mark Harvey, and over the last few years I've taught hundreds of people. They built multi-million-pound property portfolios, and they are generating tens upon thousands of pounds of cash flow every single month. And one of the strategies that these people use in the real life community is rent to rent. So what is rent to rent? Because I think there's like this misconception that like I must just contact everybody for rent to rent. And here's the issue. Yeah, so look, this is how to identify a rent to rent. But let me tell you a quick story just to demonstrate the purpose here. So people, landlords, you know, people of the public, they'll go out there and they'll buy a house. Now, when they buy a house because they hear that it's a good idea to invest in property. Wealth is built through property. They don't get too much training, if any, probably no training. They just say, yeah, I know what to do, which is true. What to do is very straightforward. Buy a house, rent it out, receive the income. Buy a house, do it up, sell it, get the income. So yeah, what to do is very straightforward. But then sometimes what happens, people might end up with not a very happy home. Yeah, not a very happy property. So they took this property on thinking they were going to be a landlord and they were going to take loads of money. They didn't know what was involved in it. Especially some people might take on what's called a HMO, a house of multiple occupancy. Very different to just a normal buy-to-let where a family might live in there for 10, 20 years and just, you know, everything will be okay. This has got multiple units, high traffic, lots of turnover of people coming in, so damage can be caused and renewals need to be done, and it's a more temporary accommodation, 6 months, 12 months, something like that. So anyway, people who do this, now they've got to own a happy home. So now what they want to do is try and sell it, but if they can't sell it, they may be in negative equity, they may not want to sell it, but they don't want to manage it themselves. It's causing them too much of a headache. So now we get to the key point of why this strategy was created. They are in what you might call pain. Yeah, so now they're in some pain. Now we're opening it up to be an option. Because I don't want to run this myself, but I still want to make money as the landlord. So what happens is, someone like us can come along, or the people who have been trained efficiently and effectively for our programs, they can come along and say, hey, Mr. Landlord, turn this frown upside down. What we're going to do is we are going to pay you a guaranteed rent. Now that rent could be agreed, but let's just say, for example, the rent I'm going to pay you, I'm going to guarantee to pay you £1,000 a month. You don't need to touch this anymore. We're going to take care of it. We're going to fill it up. Whatever happens, we're going to make, you're going to make £1,000. So now this guy can turn his frown upside down. He's making his money, paying his mortgage, and also making his profit. Yeah, so you have now taken over this. What you're going to do is you're going to start to, you know, decorate this, make it look better. Because the problem is, and the reason he was in pain is because it wasn't renting out, or he didn't have the money to do it up, or it didn't have the know-how how to renovate it and increase the rents. So what you're going to do is you're going to make it all sparkly and wonderful, maybe spend a few £1,000s, which, by the way, don't even have to be your own money, you can raise this money, and you have a few £1,000s to make it look good. So now what you're going to go and do is go out there and go rent the rooms out, you know, let's say £650 a pop. And if there's 6 rooms in here, with 6 rooms, £3,900. Now what I'm going to be doing, and what rent to rent is, it's about agreeing that I'm going to take control, not ownership. I'm going to take control of this house, and I'm then going to spend a few thousand on it, and sometimes I can even negotiate with a landlord and maybe they put half in as well, but ultimately I'm solving their problem, their pain, so they can have profit and I can have profit as well, because I've got 3,900. Now what I need to do is pay the landlord their guaranteed £1,000 rent, and then I'll be paying the bills out of this as well, which will be the utility bills and all of that. And the rest of it is profit for me. So I need to account within my numbers, which, you know, many other videos on here on numbers, so make sure you subscribe to this channel so that you're always getting notified of these new videos that are coming out, and you can go and explore the rest of them as well. And Then once I've paid my guaranteed rent here and I paid the bills, and then hey presto, then I'll have my profit. Yeah, then I will have my profit. Yeah, but that's how the rent-to-rent strategy was born, by the way, when people are in pain. So like if someone came up to me, which right now I'm 100% occupied across my entire portfolio, although I do have a few of them that are where I am the landlord. Now, it's not necessarily that I was unhappy, but if someone came to me and gave me an insanely high price, which somebody actually for a 5-unit property I have, they give me $3,500 a month. Yeah, guaranteed. Every single month, that's what they give me. So I'm like, well, why not? Yeah, contract, they take care of it, all good. So unless you're gonna pay an insanely massive price, they're gonna have to be in pain for them to want to be like, okay, you take ownership, because ultimately this is going to be less. You know, because look at the potential here, but they just didn't have the know-how, they didn't have the skills, they didn't have the courage, because it takes courage as well to take this on, and so they're accepting something less. So less risk for them because it's totally hands-off now, less profit. You know, you're going to put the time in, the energy, the effort. You're going to get trained, hopefully. You're going to get coached. Just go do this by yourself. And once you do that, bam, profit. I mean, this is just one of them. One property that you can start making this money on. And like if we actually want to look at this, so let's look at 3.9, yeah? So 3.9. So we've got 3,900, because I think you just need to see this. And now I've got to take away 1,000, and the bills on here, even if it was like extortionate, which is like 150 a room, yeah? So let's say 900, there we go. So look, what am I left with? Yeah, I'm left with £2,000 profit every single month. And that can account for, you know, a little bit of this and that might go on. And also, let's say, you know, a void here and there every so often. So that's just one property. Imagine if you had, like some of our tribe members, 10 of these. Would that be cool? How much are you making then? 20K a month. This is when then you need to really know how to run it as a business, because, you know, you've got 10 of those. That means you're running 60 tenants if they're all 6 beds. But we've got people in our community that got over 100 tenants, some even 150 tenants that they're managing. So you need to systemize it so that so that you maintain happy and you're living your life, which is why you wanted to get into property investing in the first place. So this strategy alone, or as a combination with other strategies as well, is very lucrative. But the main thing is, what we're doing here is we're adding value to people in the process. So let's not escape that, because tenants are going to have a better accommodation because you're going to make it better. So you're raising the standard of living. The landlord is now problem-free because you're going to take care of his woes and be able to just pay that guaranteed rent. And then whoever you're around, your family, your people, the people that you start employing, once you start running it as a business, turn over 20 grand a month, well, that's not even turning over, that's actually, you know, profit. So that's going to change your life and all the people that work with you as well. So for more videos like this and more tips, and by the way, anytime that you want to reach out, ask us questions, go find me on social media. I do get around to all of the questions eventually, but I'll also love to see you at an event as well, because this is where we get hands-on and we actually go through not just this strategy, but 7, 8, 9, 10 other strategies as well, depending on what event you might attend. And we help you get started and move forward. And some of the biggest things that stop people is money. Not got the money. And that's why I didn't invest in property for such a long time, because I thought I needed money to make money. Not true at all. In fact, the first £6 million of my portfolio was built with zero money before I started putting, you know, all the cash I was making into the business. Because what am I going to do? Just leave it in the bank? No. And that's how we also go out there and attract private investment to come and invest in the equity side, because the rest of it we get from the bank. Oh my God, and I almost forgot the reason why my team wanted to do this video for you right now at this point is because how many people are going to be out there struggling with their property right now? I need to use different colors, too much black on it. Yeah, look at this. There's going to be lots of people with upset faces here because they took on properties in their own name and now they're getting taxed and they don't know how to get around that. By the way, if that's you, reach out, we can help you. Some people, they just don't want to get the training, they're too stubborn, they don't know what to do, they start getting stressed out, so they don't know how to manage tenants, they don't know how to manage managing agents. They may have bought property a long time ago and they've not been running it efficiently, so they don't have any money to now do a refurb, because, you know, to boost it up and get these prices, it's got to be looking good. It can't be like 5 years ago, 10 years ago standards anymore. Now, real life changed that for most people in the UK. The standard is very high right now. We literally came into the market scene in 2017, totally transformed it, started doing very high-end HMOs, and people started doing, like, you know, designs, boutique stuff. And that kind of set the standard. So to get this kind of money, they've got to invest it, and they might not know how, they might not have the money. So that's where you come along and say, hey, listen, I'll just pay you the guaranteed rent. So now's the time, because people are trying to offload it. People are selling up portfolios. People are worried about what's going on in the economy. Maybe they weren't making very much cash flow. You see, look, we always work deals out, so cash flow is sexy. Yeah, but not everybody does that. They quit so fine that now there's an slight increase in the bills and the utilities, literally wiping them out, and they're losing money every month, and people just simply can't afford to do that. So they can't afford to run it anymore, they can't afford to own it, they try and sell it but they can't sell it because so many people are selling properties and they're not buying them anymore at the rates that they were before. So I hope that makes sense. And that's why now is a good opportunity to get started. But listen, I don't care what time of year it is, when it is, or where in the cycle. If your business relies on the cycle of property, or your business relies on waiting for something, like I'm going to wait before I buy, I'm going to wait before I take action, you don't have a business. And the reason why people wait or don't make moves, or procrastinate, or lose money, is because they just don't have the right strategies, they don't have the principles that I use myself, that I've been teaching to thousands of people all over the world in business, but then more so specifically to property business, because that's my, like, if there is a secret, which there isn't, but if there is one, it's to invest in property and run it as a business. That would be the secret, if there is any. Yeah, so until next time, do the right thing for the right reason, because it's the only way to discover your true potential.